All right, so I'm going to get started, and then other people can pop in. Hello, everyone. This is Dave Ashheim. I started this company, Give, Buy, Sell, about 9 or 10 years or so ago, and we now provide all kinds of mobile services, fundraising and text messaging and mobile websites to charities all over the United States. And every month or so, we put on about a 20, 25-minute little webinar where we explain the world of mobile, and then we have a guest speaker, and we have Jeanette today from a charity here in San Francisco, which is great. So I'll turn it over to Jeanette in just a little bit, but I'll walk through a few slides just to kind of frame the world of mobile. And then Jeanette and I will have a little discussion as to how she's used mobile at her events. And as we go through this, feel free to ask your questions in the chat window, and Casey and I will answer them. So let's move on. So we're going to talk a little bit about fundraising tips and what works and what doesn't really work. And Jeanette and I were chatting earlier about some of the things that she's tried and what she seems to think works the best, and she's going to share her insight. And after the webinar, we'll send you a link to this slide deck so you've got it so you can share with your associates. So Christina's going to log in, I think, in a little bit. I think she was held up, but we have Jeanette Huey from the Chinatown Community Development Center. So Jeanette, feel free to say hello.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
So she is our guest today. So a little bit about us. We've been doing this for a long time, so we've got a good track record on what we think and know works and doesn't work using mobile. So we can really steer you clear of situations where maybe mobile is not a perfect one, and then we can share with you when it makes the most sense. And what we found is, because everybody's relying on their phones to buy everything and to surf the web, that this immediacy has really been the big driver. I don't have to go write a check. I don't have to go log on to a website. I can text in, make a pledge like in Jeanette's case, maybe see it on a big screen, and then follow up and make my donation right on the spot. And so because of the immediacy and people can do it wherever they happen to be, I think that's why mobile is just really accelerating its presence on fundraising. We've found that the only way younger people really want to donate is through crowdfunding kinds of sites, which they can do on their phone, as well as these kinds of services that we're going to share with you today. So how do you decide where you're going to start? The kinds of mobile tools that are available, I'll show you these in a second, and then Jeanette's group has used a few of them. And we'll talk about what these tools cost and what the ROI is. And then I'll ask Jeanette, too, what kind of downsides she's seen as well. So there's three options. The one that you've seen all over the country with any kind of a crisis is the option where people can text in and make a donation right over using their phone bill as the way to pay for it. So you can donate $5, $10, or 25 bucks. It's a great way to reach people that may not even know very much about your organization, but they want to donate and they want to do it really fast. They don't want to take out the credit card. There's some restrictions, as you can tell. It takes 3 or 4 weeks to get the phone company approval, and you've got to be a 501c3 and be in business a year. But if you make that, then you can use this. So for our guest today, why don't you look at this red section, and why don't we go ahead and have you do that? If everybody could text in renew to 20222, somebody tell me what you see. This will not charge your phone bill unless you reply yes. So go ahead and text in the word renew to 20222. And what did we get back? Casey, maybe you want to just say what you got back on your phone.
To confirm your $10 donation to World Renew, reply with the word yes.
Okay, so if you replied yes, then you would have made a donation with the charge hitting your phone bill. So it's really easy to do. Perfect for concerts, symphonies. Maybe you've got a big 10K race where you've got 500 or 1,000 people in the audience. You're doing a big sales meeting or a big conference. Ideal for that. You're not going to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars typically. You're going to raise in the thousands of dollars, but you're reaching an audience that perhaps has never really thought about donating. Number 2 is mobile donate. That is where you can text in and make a credit card donation or a PayPal donation. So just for fun, why don't you all do what it says in red in the box? Text in the word Henry to 56512 and tell me what you get back. There should be a response that allows you to make a pledge, and that's the service that Jeanette's going to talk about, or click a link. So go ahead, somebody, do that, and then tell me in the chat window what it is that just happened. All right, Casey, if you want to say what you get back on your phone.
Gives me a link to a donation page for Henryville.
And also it's a pledge as well, right?
It is a pledge as well, yeah.
So that allows that, and that link can go to your existing, there you go, thanks, took it to a donation page. And that donation page could be a page that we host, or it's a page that sits on your server. If you've got a great donation page, it can go to either location, whatever works for you. So the great thing about that service is you could be having lunch with somebody. You could have a big event, a lunch event or an evening event, and collect the money right on the spot. And then number 3 is what Jeanette's going to talk about in a second. It's really a pledge. Someone from your office will call the people, or you can have them go to the back of the room. But it's a very fast way. It's like a paddle raise or filling out a form. So we call that mobile pledge. All of these come with a thermometer. And let me show you what a thermometer can look like. So let's go to the PhD's project. This is the back end of how you build the thermometer. And then you would just hook up a laptop to a screen and design this however you want. You can have images behind the color, pick your color. And as people text in, their pledges can show up on the screen. So it's a fast way to get people to get excited, and we'll ask Jeanette some questions about that in just a second too. These are some screenshots of what the donation pages can look like. Here's another screenshot of an actual screen, a couple of these. And why don't we go right into talking to Jeanette, and Jeanette, I'll bring up your account too. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you do for the Chinatown Community Development Center. I put on the screen here your website. So tell us a bit about your organization and how you happen to kind of stumble on the idea of mobile fundraising.
Okay. Well, our organization has been around for 40 years, and we develop affordable housing for residents in San Francisco, mostly seniors, but we also have housing for veterans and families.
Exactly.
So,
and how do you raise your money typically?
There, from a variety of sources. We do have government grants and private foundation grants, but we get quite a bit of support from individuals, and we also have several fundraising events during the year. Our largest event is an annual gala, and the last 2 years we've had like about 800 guests at our gala.
Right. And before you started using mobile, what were the ways that you were trying to, obviously you would probably sell tickets, but tell us a little bit about pre-mobile and then during mobile, during using Give by Cell, what has changed?
Okay, so we started using the mobile giving 3 years ago, and it was I think we found out about this by attending another fundraising event, and that organization used that, and we thought it was a lot of fun, and so we decided to give it a try 3 years ago, and we researched the various companies that offered that service, and we decided to go with Give by Cell. And the difference for us is that, and then by doing the mobile, okay, I'll step back a bit. By doing the mobile pledge, we have to call each donor after the event to get their credit card number or to tell them where to send their check. And so that's been the greatest benefit for us, in addition to raising the money, but just having that conversation with each donor. And so that's been good for us. And the reason for that, our gala is mostly attended by our corporate supporters. And so they will buy a whole table, and they would invite 10 people. And so the majority of the people are just slightly familiar with it. They may not be on our donor database. So this is a way that we've been able to capture new donors.
Right. And what kinds of pushback when you first thought about using mobile did you hear from your associates in the organization?
Was there any pushback?
Yeah, was there any pushback? Were people up for trying something new?
Well, everyone was excited about it. And we did get good feedback from people who donated, and they wanted to know how it was done, and we did refer quite a few people to your company because of that.
Yeah, that's right. Now, you were talking about the pledge. So what we see on the screen are the names and the dollar amounts and a phone number. Some organizations don't have the staff to make these phone calls. So talk to us a little bit about how you were able to go through this list and call everybody. Do you have a group of people that have time to do that?
Well, we're fortunate. In our research development department, there are 4 staff. So we divided the list up among the 4 of us. And we make the calls in between. Yeah, we just make the calls in between all our other duties. And it does seem to take us maybe a 2-week span of time to get through the list.
And do you have any sense for what percent of the pledges you're able to collect? Is it 70% or 90%? Do you have any idea for what that would be?
Yeah, I would say 85 to 90%.
Yeah, that's the trend that I've heard as well. And most of the folks that don't fulfill it is just because they haven't been able to get the person on the phone.
That's
but
right.
of course, now there is of course the service where you could have brought them to a donation page, and I'll show you what that would be. Let me just go to the PhD project, and they might be joining us. But they use this page, as you could see here, where they would use these templates and decide whether they want to set up a one-time or a monthly giving, and then people would text in and complete this information. You chose to go the much more personal route, Jeanette. Is that because you have the bandwidth and you think it's better to try to personalize it, or at some point you think you'll bring them to a link and let people fulfill their pledges through a credit card at the event?
Let's see. Yeah. Right now we do like the personal touch, but I think it's always good to offer another option.
Right.
Yeah, and so we would probably consider this for next year.
Yeah, and if it got too many, if you're starting to get 300-400 of these, that would be kind of hard to do. Talk to us a little bit about the screen feature. So let me go back to your screen here. How important is it to have some kind of a visual display? And how did you set that up? Did you have a laptop, or how did you physically do it?
Let's see. We really relied on the training you provided, because even though I set it up 3 years ago, and then by the time it comes around to doing it again, I forget. But we really do utilize the services of your staff to help us set this up, and it's fairly easy. It's very easy and quick.
Yeah.
And the first year, we were a little worried that the thermometer might not work at the event, but there was no reason to worry. It was very seamless, and our guests really do. I think it really gets the guests engaged with the whole thing. And
at what part of the evening do you roll this screen out, and how do you kind of tee it up, Jeanette?
Yeah, let's see, in the past, we've done like a short video about the purpose for the fundraising. Sometimes we would have one of our clients speak about the services that they receive and how the additional funds will just increase the services we provide. We've also had, this year we had some children sing on stage, and so we definitely, throughout the whole program, the focus is on the fundraising effort. Right. And then towards the end of the program is when we tell people to bring out their phones and make a pledge. Right.
So you're not showing this screen the whole night. You're just bringing it out when you're actually having people take out their phones and text in.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this screen is up for 5 or 10 minutes, maybe?
About 15.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then you probably got an MC that's talking about it and helping people, then encouraging.
Yep. Yeah, you really need someone enthusiastic.
Right.
And our executive director, too, also was part of that.
Right. Okay, that sounds great.
Then, this year, I don't know how they did it. I guess the IT people were able to do a screenshot of the final, of what you're seeing now on your screen. And then they just kept that up for the rest of the evening.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. And then, of course, there's a back-end report. So I don't know whether you logged in, Jeanette, or others, but there are reports that show all kinds of stuff, from Google Maps to where all the texts are coming in from, as well as you can run a report showing every single text that was received. So it allows for some great bookkeeping. Okay, this person donated 100, so I'm going to call their phone number and ask them to make a donation.
Yeah.
So
the reports.
all this is available. Well, that's great. Any questions from the folks on the call? If you do, go ahead and put them in the little chat window. And if not, then we will email everybody the presentation so you can share it with your team. But we'll wait a second or so in case some of the folks on the call have questions. And if there are none, then we'll let Jeanette get back to business and everybody else. Any questions from the gallery? Feel like an auction going once, twice. All right, everybody. Well, I will stick around for a few minutes, and I will unmute everybody. And then, Jeanette, thank you so much for sharing your journey as a couple years ago with mobile. It's
no,
great.
You're welcome.
All right, and I will unmute everybody if you want to stick around. Otherwise, we'll just email the presentation.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Okay. So if there's any questions, go ahead and ask them. So social media. I think I unmuted you. Give us a little bit more background on what you're thinking of.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, great. No, I think that the text to donate option is really great, especially when I think of like any events like she was saying about like galas, anything like that. But I was just wondering if you guys had anything specific to social media, like if people, like if, because we kind of have a base on Facebook and Instagram. So I was just wondering if there was anything related to Facebook or Instagram or just anything in social media that like kind of accentuates the text option. Because I mean, I love the text option. It's great. But if there's anything more than that specific to, I guess, the social media side.
I'll tell you what our clients do is they will post. Let me show you an example here on my screen. They will tweet and or post on Instagram the short code to text into all the time.
Right.
So here's a former client called Henryville in my heart. So their keyword is Henry. So they will put that phrase, text Henry, to 56512 in just about every social media post.
Right.
So they'll do that, or what they will do is they'll grab this bit.ly, which brings the person to this page, and they'll post that.
Right.
So it is just pervasive. Our most successful clients will put it all over social media.
Right.
So it'll be, hey, we're trying to buy $1,000 worth of playground equipment for the Boys and Girls Club. You can help. Click here, and off it goes. Gotcha.
Okay, and I also noticed that you guys have the page QR code. So if somebody wants to scan and put it in, that could work too as well, right?
That's right. So you just click it, and then you can pick the size, and you can download it and open it, and now you've got yourself a QR code.
That you could probably post on the walls of events or separate pieces.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Also, you can add the share buttons at the bottom by just deciding which ones you want. And then once you do, they will show up at the bottom of the screen.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah, that answers my question, and I think it's a great approach.
Well, you know, everybody's going mobile, and more people, they don't want to take out their checkbook, so they just want to do it from their phone. If they could text in, they will.
Right.
Well, great. What other questions? Anything else that came up?
Oh no, I mean, other than that, I mean, I think the options are great. I mean, I think um, when people hear the idea of, you know, don't like the first one that you said text to, I think it was text, the first text option that we had,
That's
and
right. Charge your phone bill.
right, I think that's a great option, especially. I mean, I just wonder how does that work on the back end? Do we receive the donation immediately, or that's based off of how whenever they pay their phone bill?
It's based on the phone company collecting the money and then sending it to an intermediary called the Mobile Giving Foundation, and then they send it to you. So it's initially about a 2-month process, and then it's every month.
Oh, okay. So that's per person.
That's right. Now you will be able to log in and see the funds that came in, but you will, let me just show you what that looks like, but you don't get the money until about a month or two.
Gotcha.
So that's a great service for those organizations that are trying to reach out to a new audience, and they're wondering, okay, how do we go about doing that? And let's just pull one up here. So here's the Greater Boston Food Bank. They have these different kinds of keywords, and then they can run reports showing, okay, how much came in. Of course, we don't know the names, but this person donated $10 on 12/11.
Gotcha.
So in a month or so, you'll get the money.
Okay, but just like how you're looking at that report, we won't know the specific name of the individual unless they provide that information.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So you could ask people to text in the keyword and their name or their email, and sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That sounds
Great.
good. Thank you so much.
All right. Good talking to you. Thanks for attending.
Uh-huh.